Okay, all of the actual work is done, and now all I gotta do is set myself up to do the thing when it's time to do the thing. And now that all the work is actually done, I've kind of had like a couple moments to reflect on this training cycle. And I think like the one thing that I kind of forgot, the one thing that I kind of lost is with how rough that stretch of the meat prep was right after coming off the diet, where everything felt like shit, where everything felt like I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing anymore. And with all of the pressure that I want to put on myself for this meet, I've kind of been forgetting to enjoy the process. So today's plan is to take some last warm-up-ish numbers for squats and deads, and the only really goal is to try to enjoy myself. And like, people will want to say that I don't need to put pressure on myself. And they might be right, but I really do feel like the pressure is what presents the opportunity to create the outcome that I want. Because that pressure is what's going to create the urgency to put my foot on the gas pedal to actually do the freaking job. So pressure, not a freaking bad thing, but that pressure can become a bad thing if I let it build to the point that it's getting in the way of actually doing the thing that I need to do. And I'm kind of glad that I got to this point of the thought process today, not like meet day morning.
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
And good news is that like it feels actually snappier than it did warming up on Saturday. Bad news is I'm kind of like fighting shoulder tightness, like upper back position a little bit, but I benched yesterday, so not too worried about that. And we got 265 on the bar, which will be like my second last planned meet day warm up. So we better smack this.
Fucking abs. Squat. Squeeze.
Yeah,
Very solid.
that was, yeah. Okay, 290. Find freaking tension and trust it.
Squeeze those abs. Squat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
probably one of the better squats so far, hopefully.
The trend is a better direction than
Yeah,
otherwise. So
yeah. Yeah, and looking at the front view of that, I would say that's definitely a better quality squat than we had on the weekend. And like, I do feel a little bit like energy flat, but the thing that I was kind of struggling with on the weekend is like I didn't feel very assertive or snappy, and I think I got a little bit more tightness, which led to a little bit more confidence, which led to a little bit more snap, which led to a little bit more feeling like I can actually be strong. So considering that we are this close to the weekend's last one, I am very, very okay with that. So let's rip the sleeves off and get to pulling. Waiting for Darrell to finish with the kabuki bar so I can do my last warm-up pull. And I was going to make an inappropriate joke about hanging from the chin-up bar, but I figured that might get me demonetized. So what I will say is that hanging from a chin-up bar pre-dead is like one of my favorite ways as a short-arm guy. Like, I know it's not actually making my arms longer, but just like creating a little bit more space between my scaps and rib cage definitely seems to help with feeling longer on the wedge. So if you are stubby, or even if you aren't stubby, highly recommend just doing a little hanging out before you pull. It's also fun. And right now I'm literally just doing shit so I don't go stir crazy while I'm waiting to pull. But this is another one that I really like. Not like necessarily pre-deadlift, but around my pull days just to make sure that I have the hip and ham flexibility to kind of get to the bar. So what I do here is I'm like hinging to where I normally feel a stretch, allowing some knee bend, and then forcing the knee backwards with the quad into more ham stretch, just kind of alternating side to side. I also like to kind of go legs straight and just rock side to side here to get a little bit more to the lateral hip. But I don't know, these feel nice and make me feel like I have, again, more room to actually get down to the deadlift bar. And like, if you're worried about doing flexibility stuff prior to training, getting in the way of force production, you're probably looking at outdated studies. And even if it does get in the way of force production, if I get in a better position and I can produce force more efficiently, that's kind of a trade-off that I'm okay with taking.
Perfect.
Woo!
One.
Me. And like, didn't feel super spunky, but felt technically sound, and like it doesn't need to feel spunky on this day. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I used to let feeling flat, feeling tired, feeling weak at the end of a meet prep get in my head. But what I've realized is that in order for supercompensation to occur, you need to let fatigue accumulate. And as that fatigue accumulates, you're going to feel like ass. And I've almost learned to look forward to feeling really freaking shitty at the end of prep, but still finding a way to execute and still finding a way to bring it. Because if I can execute while feeling like this, I know meet day is going to be so much freaking easier. And on that note, now that we are at the point where I am trying to taper off the old fatigue, I gotta just do some little feel good shit for accessories. Starting with some FFE split squats, just body weight with a get into my knee and feel nice kind of intent. And we're gonna just fluff up the hips a little bit with some spud strap hip flexor raises. Nothing crazy, just trying to get pulled into a little extension, pull up into a little flexion, trying to feel it deep inside of me. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But these just feel nice and make the hips feel nice and slippery afterwards. So highly recommend for a little tune-up style torso work if you're feeling clunky. And that is that. And sitting here now, like, even if this prep was immensely frustrating and far more difficult than I expected or wanted it to be, it's like, if I want to continue to do cool shit, like, it's going to be hard. And like, this prep being hard, it's the reminder that everything else I want to do before I'm done, like continuing to cut after this meet, continuing to drop down, continuing to get leaner, continuing to rebuild after that point, like, none of it's going to be easy, none of it's going to be a walk in the park. And I think that it was my own wrongdoing to almost assume that it would be easy cruising, smooth cruising, that I'd just be able to ramp food up and instantly feel good again. But you know what? I'm glad that it wasn't easy, and I'm glad that I stuck it out to this point to make it look like I've got a pretty good shot to do pretty cool stuff. So thank you guys for tagging along. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night.
I started Team Activated to make real powerlifting coaching accessible for everyone. This is not a copy and paste program. This is giving you the feedback, education, and understanding necessary to set up a program for your needs and progress it as you go. And we're going to do that on two fronts. First, the classroom is a place for you to ask any question that you have and post your training so that we can see your lifts in order to analyze your weak points, coach your technique, and give you exercise selection and programming recommendations based on what you need right now. And as you progress, as things change, we will be able to guide you along the way. If you need more help, you will be able to hop on a video call with me twice a week so that we can talk face to face about whatever issue you are stuck on. The other half of the team is the classroom, where we're not just telling you what to think, but teaching you how to think about training. We have exclusive modules on conjugate periodization, biomechanics, injury rehab, plus my entire movement prep exercise index at your disposal. We're also hosting live lecture deep dives every single month where we're going to tackle the more nuanced topics in training. So, why is this better than getting a program? Even if I write you the most perfect program, you're only going to have something to follow for the next 12 weeks. But if I teach you how to think about programming and coach you along the way, you will have something to follow for the rest of your training career. Oh, and if you really want a program to follow, we have a weekly updated conjugate plan that is flexible enough for you to modify to fit your needs. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that link to join and let's smash some PRs.